The RUFF Show. Rough, 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 rough.
The RUFF Show.
Rough, rough, rough.
The RUFF Show.
Rough, rough, rough. The RUFF Show is so cool that I could be swimming in a pool, and I know that you people think I'm lame, but I got so many figurines that I got channel. It's on YouTube, and now you know because I've got a show. Let me tell you, it's called the RUFF Show.
The RUFF Show.
The RUFF Show. The RUFF Show. Da 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 da.
Like any audience member, I'm very interested in story. So I found this new show on Netflix, because I don't really watch TV anymore, called Limitless. Now, those of you who are familiar with the movie, it's basically like the film. The first episode is basically the opening of the movie, which is kind of cool. Also, Bradley Cooper guest stars. What I think is funny is he guest stars as the original man that took the pill. His name is Eddie Morra, I believe. No. Right, it's not called this. It's called The Dark Fields. If you're not familiar with the book, which I'm not, I took it out from the library, but I'm gonna probably have to take it out again. Anyway, The Dark Fields, I'll read you the synopsis so you can get it from Goodreads rather than me. Let's go with this. Imagine a drug that makes your brain function with perfect efficiency, tapping into your most fundamental resources of intelligence and drive, releasing all the passive knowledge you'd ever accumulated. A drug that made you focused, charming, fast, even attractive. Eddie Spinola is on such a drug. It's called MDT-48, and it's Viagra for the brain, a designer drug that's redesigning his life. But while MDT is helping Eddie achieve the kind of success he's only dreamed about, it's also chipping away at his sanity, splitting headaches, spontaneous blackouts, violent outbursts. And now that he's hooked and supply is running low, Eddie must venture into the drug's dark past to feed his habit. What he discovers proves that MDT, once a dream come true, has become his worst nightmare. So, it's by Alan Glynn, and I don't know if he's written anything else. Apparently, it says Limitless #1, so I guess there's a second one. Interesting. Is this like Limitless #2? Because why would you start with Limitless #1 if there was going to be a no? Okay, I don't understand that. I mean, he doesn't need to continue. Wait, there's 2 books here. Under the Night. I don't know if I'd read it, but Under the Night is 1950s Manhattan. Ad man Ned Sweeney finds himself an unwitting participant in MK Ultra trials, the CIA's covert study of psychoactive drugs. The experiment introduces him to MDT-48, a mind-expanding smart drug, which takes him away from his wife and young son and straight to the quarters of the richest and most powerful people of his day. But before long, Ned is dead. Over 60 years later, Ned's grandson, Ray, meets Clay Proctor, a retired government official, who may be able to illuminate not only Ned's life and death, and also the truth behind this. There would be but anyway, but also the truth behind the mysterious MDT-48. Both a sequel and prequel to Alan Glynn's classic debut. No, wow, whoever wrote this needs to edit this. Anyway, which became the #1 hit movie. Limitless on the Night is an irresistible thriller with destructive power and dangers of unlocking the human mind. So, Limitless is what I would argue Sherlock Holmes can do. And Sherlock Holmes, basically, it's compartmentalizing, But Sherlock Holmes probably doesn't know every single thing from birth. Like in the show, Eddie Morra, it's not, what the hell the guy's name is in the book, which I should know, but I'm not on this damn drug, so. Anyway, point is, he, yeah. Oh, God, I just lost my train of thought. Hang on, I'll come back. What's interesting about the show is it's kind of like the second book. I mean, Eddie Morra is known for the movie Limitless, and whatever the guy's name is, Eddie something, in the Dark Fields is still the same guy. I mean, they changed the name, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You can have the writer's character with the real name, or you can have it with a different name. It doesn't really matter. I think every writer who has a film made of their book should have some kind of right to the film, if they want it. Like Michael Connelly has decided for Bosch that he is not going to be part of the writer's room, unless he wants to. And he has, in the past, written episodes. But I think he did that because when Bosch was owned by Paramount, Michael Connelly lost the rights to his own character, which is a terrifying thing for a writer, because it's like, if they don't own the rights to their own damn character, they can just fuck it up. They can just make film after film and ruin his reputation and ruin his character, and I think he was afraid. So in the end, he sued Paramount and got his rights back. And I'm not saying he would have lost that case, because the guy's got money and probably a very good lawyer. But anyway, the point is, he got his character back, which I think is important. But anyway, what is the point of this? The point of this is that story, I find, is very important, and characters are very important. Recurring characters are important too, but when you make a recurring character, you want to have a reason to why they're recurring. So if you are going to make a show that's going to star one of the main actors from the film that basically inspired the show, how do you do it? You could begin from scratch, but you can't now because you've decided to keep the original character from the movie. You just added him into the show. I won't tell you much about the show, but all you have to know basically is, you're like Sherlock Holmes, except you know things that Sherlock Holmes would never know, like how he was born. Because basically this drug goes into your brain and just opens up every single wiring you've had. So you'll learn things that you knew when you were 3. You'll learn things you knew when you were born, which is freaky if you think about it. Like, people talk about how their births were traumatizing. And think about that factually. You can't really know that. Well, actually, no, scientifically, you can't really know when you were born. I mean, you can't know how you were, like, what it was like to be born, because think about how fucking traumatizing that would be. You know, you come out of your mother's vagina and it's like, why are you crying? You're fucking terrified. What the hell's happening? You can't speak English, you can't talk, you can't do anything. You're just useless. So the fact that this guy, who's Eddie Morra, which I think I liked him better in the film, but anyway, Still Bradley Cooper. I just find it funny that they call him the special guest because they did that with Buffy with the guy who plays Giles. I can't think right now, but you guys know who Giles is. If you don't, Anthony Stewart Head, who apparently now goes by Anthony Head, which is fine. But you don't have to add his middle name. Anyway, so they're like in Buffy by the end of the show, it's like special guest, and it's really funny because it's like, how is he a special guest if he's like almost in every single fucking episode, right? And I'm not saying that Bradley Cooper's going to be in every single episode of Limitless. He's not actually. He's in the first one, which is cool. I'm sure he'll come back. I mean, he's one of the producers. When you're a producer, though, on a show, you don't have much influence. I mean, Michael Conley is a producer on, he's an executive producer on Bosch, and he doesn't have really any influence unless he's writing the episode with someone or by himself. What I liked, though, is he wrote the first episode of Bosch, which I think is important because he's got to establish his character. And who knows your character better than the writer of the character, right? So, it made sense. For Bradley Cooper, though, Bradley Cooper didn't write Limitless. I don't think he did. But he was the main actor in the movie, so of course he can have influence. I feel like the show was written by the same person or created by the same person. The writer was Leslie Dixon. Director was Neil Berger. Never mind. I'm completely wrong. Because those aren't the same people. Creator was Craig Sweeney. And there doesn't seem to be any influence with the book. Which is fine. But it kind of opens like the movie. I recommend seeing the film first. You don't need to see the film first. But it gives you some background that you will kind of need in the show. You don't need it, but it's kind of helpful. Anyway, point is, basically you become Sherlock Holmes, but better. You observe everything. You know shit that you might not have known you knew or forgot, because when you're born and you basically have the world as your oyster, you basically take in everything, you know, as you grow up. But as you get older, you compartmentalize certain things and discard other things. So that's why it's better to learn like a language when you're really young, because you'll obtain it and keep it by, you know, if you're mid-20s, because you'll know the language, because you spoke it all the time, where you heard people talk. It's the best time to learn is when you're young. Now, that doesn't always have to happen. I mean, I'm not saying writers should start when they're 5 years old. It would help. It's like skating. But thing is, if you have a drug like this, you don't even have to worry about that shit, because everything you learn in this theory is still in your brain, which I agree with, because we still don't know everything there is to know about the brain. It's one of the most complicated instruments of the human body. Like, everyone knows how a heart works. Everyone knows how legs work. And because of that knowledge, we can make people walk again. It doesn't always happen, but it can. But this is all in the brain. If you kill the brain, you're dead. If you, like, stab someone's eye and you get to the brain, you could be dead. But, like, the brain is how we are still functioning. So if you remove someone's brain, you're dead. I mean, people who are in comas don't have their brains removed. People who are vegetables, who are comatose, don't, you know. What are they thinking? What are they doing? Anyway, point is, to take this drug, your entire life changes. So if you're like a basket case, like these two characters are in the beginning of the movie and the show, you just become a wholly different person. And it's pretty amazing. Because if you think about it, everybody would want this drug. The Problem is, it's a drug. And I love in the show where they're just like, yeah, well, of course he's more active with this drug. That's what happens when you take performance enhancing drugs. It's true. It's performance enhancing. It's just enhancing the brain. It's not a physical drug. I mean, it doesn't enhance you physically. But it's a really interesting show. And it's one of my favorite shows right now. And if you want to know my favorite shows, there's House. There's Gotham. I don't think How I Met Your Mother is my favorite show. It's an awesome show, but it's not my favorite show. I like shows that make you think. Sherlock's good. I don't know why it's not my favorite, but it's not. But yeah, Gotham, Limitless is incredible. I'm watching it. Can't think of any others. It's weird. The Simpsons is not my favorite, but again, it's an awesome show. Anyway, point is, it's a great show, and it really has you thinking. Like, I'm not saying when you watch the show you feel like you've taken the drug, but yeah, kind of, because, I mean, everyone's experience would be different if this drug existed. Also, it's not called what the book calls it, MGT 48 or whatever. It's NZT something. But, see, I feel like they didn't really get the rights to this, so they couldn't really do anything, because, like, unless Alan Glynn, or what it is, was actually on the production team, which he probably wasn't, he might still have the rights. And in the show, they never say based on the book. In the movie, they do. But I don't think... yet. Oh. See, the basic premise of this movie that humans use only a small percentage of their brain is a total fallacy. I don't really care about the did you know or spoilers. I'm not. I just wanted to know if he was on the production team, but it doesn't seem he was. That's not what I wanted. I don't want that also known as. I just want to know if he's on the production team. Alright, we're gonna have to do this another way. Film. Yeah, but is he in the production team? Nah. See, I don't think he's on the production team. And he didn't need to be. But I feel like every writer should have the opportunity to be on the production team. But if you're not on the production team, you're not on the production team. I mean, every writer might not dream for their stories to be shared between more than just readers, but viewers as well. But the ones who do, like me, it's a nice compliment when you see your character on the screen. And like Michael Connelly didn't picture Titus Welliver to be Bosch. And I think that's good. Because what happens if he had seen like Titus Welliver as Bosch? I don't know. Like, for me, if I was like writing Harry Potter still, and I constantly envisioned Alan Rickman as Snape, I might give up on writing the books, because it's like, this isn't who I pictured. But, I don't know, maybe as you get older, you kind of just say, fuck it, I'm writing these books, I'm making money, I'm gonna keep going. Like, Michael Connelly, to me, should quit with Bosch. But also, he's got to have a reason to. Bosch can't just suddenly disappear, like what Sir Arthur Conan Doyle did to Sherlock Holmes. Like, there's gotta be a reason he's gone. And he doesn't have to explain it to the fans, but it should be explained in the book. See, if Bosch died now, Maddie is screwed. I'm like, yes, she's in university, but her father dies? She's still young. I mean, if she's like 40 and he dies, that's fine, because she's got probably a life by now. And we're assuming that Maddie will become a detective. and the story will continue. But Bosch will be dead. And I'm not saying kill the bastard, but I am saying kill the bastard, because it's like, he's had his time, he's had his moment. I mean, he went from a detective to quitting and being like suspended and then retiring and then coming back and retiring again. It's like, all right, I understand, like, sleuthing, or the 187, which is murder which is the code for for murder or something, homicide in Los Angeles. Anyway, the point is, I get it. It's a difficult job. It's obsessive, and you can't just let it go. I mean, I think Bosch's biggest problem is he doesn't trust anyone else to do the job properly, which is kind of sad. Now, I am reading the series from the beginning. Don't ask me how much money I spent yesterday, because I won't tell you. But anyway, point is, about a lot of Bosch books, and yeah. Anyway, so about a lot of Bosch books. I haven't got the whole series, but my plan is to get the whole series, because I have a vision one day that I'll have a library, and I'll have kids, and my kids are gonna want to read books, and I'm gonna have the entire Bosch series for them, just in case. Because when I die, I want to leave something in their memories. Anyway, point is, yeah. So Bosch was supposed to die in the Narrows, but he doesn't, and that's okay. But he doesn't, like, disappear. Like, the book doesn't end with Bosch gone. It continues with Bosch alive. He almost dies, but he doesn't die, and that is the kicker here. And the used bookstore lady, where I bought this book from, told me that Michael Connelly tried to kill his character in the Narrows. So he was trying to do what Sir Arthur Conan Doyle did Sherlock Holmes. But what's interesting is he didn't succeed. Like, maybe he killed him in the book series and then decided that wasn't smart, so he reversed it and made him live. But in the book, he survives. And we don't have a draft that has a different ending. But I feel like he should have had him disappear and then explain how he lived. But then again, that's too Sherlock Holmes for him. They mention Sherlock Holmes in the books, which I think is really nice. Hats off to the creator of the detective story. I mean, got Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, we got Edgar Allan Poe. They were like the first two, which is pretty impressive. And I think that's where we're going to end this show. All right, no, one more thing. So with Limitless, I think it's a really cool show to study as well as watch. So, for example, anyway, whether you believe we use 100% of our brain or not 100% of our brain, like it's true, it's a complete fallacy. But it's really clever, because if we don't, we get a thing that enhances our brain and basically brings out the subconscious. Which would be impressive. And the point is, basically brings subconscious to conscious, because you don't really know what's happening in your subconscious. You have an idea, but like, if someone asked you, like, are you thinking about pancakes? And you're like, no. But now you are, because they asked you if you're thinking about pancakes, and by the fact that you think that they mentioned pancakes, you suddenly picture pancakes. I mean, that's the theory, at least. But, maybe you were thinking about pancakes subconsciously. So what happens if you knew about pancakes before the guy asked you about pancakes? Right? Anyway, point is, there's a scene which I really find interesting, which is about Brian. I think the character's is Brian. I can look that up too. And he learns that basically, what if you knew all the strength you had in your hands? Which is a really interesting thing, because I don't know about you, but if I saw a guy jumping from stairwell to stairwell, or balcony to balcony, like going down rather than up, what muscles are you using? I guess the strongest muscles you're using are your hands. It's just fascinating, especially in 22 Jump Street, where I'm hoping Channing Tatum actually performed that stunt, but he might not have. I mean, apparently Jared Leto had a double, which I think is lame, but that's my point. And his name's Brian Finch. But, yeah, so, I found that to be very interesting. I'm not saying you should go outside and start jumping from balcony to balcony with just your hands, but just think about it. Like, what if you did know all the strength you had in your hands? What could you do? Like, you could probably hit someone and know that the punch would work. Anyway, it's a good show. Highly recommended. I doubt there's going to be any links to this episode. We've gone completely over. But we've done that before, probably. Anyway, peace.